Well, a very good Monday morning to you. It is Monday morning, July the 3rd, 1995. Welcome. It's time for the Impact program. Impact is the in-studio guest format where we discuss a wide variety of topics. Tonight I do have an in-studio guest who has been here a number of times before. My in-studio guest is the longest-running, I guess in baseball you've got your hitting streak, okay? And I guess in a roundabout sort of way, you got the longest hitting streak going on Impact. My guest is the executive director of the Frontline Foundation. His name is Ray Castellani. And Ray, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Frank.
It's always wonderful to see you.
Well, it's always great to see you. It's always great to be here. I feel so good here.
Now, we usually meet about every 3 months on the program and try to introduce our listeners to Frontline and how they might be able to get involved and some other things. We do a fundraising dinner once a month. We invite people to join us. But I think I might be mistaken, but since we've last met, some things have happened to you in Frontline. You had a little trip that you took.
That's correct.
Talk a little bit about that, if you would, please.
Well, Frank, it was April, I guess, in April. And Frontline and myself, I was honored in Washington, D.C., and had the distinct honor of meeting the President of the United States. I was the recipient of the Presidential Service Award that was awarded to 18 people in the country in a volunteer status, and it's the highest award that the country gives the volunteers of this country. And so it is the most prestigious honor, and it was I just want to say one little thing, that it has no bearing on Republican, Democrat, or what any kind of affiliation whatsoever. It was an honor meeting a head of a state, and I think that's where the moment came for me, that we were in the Rose Garden, my wife and I, and when the announcer said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and the First Lady," it just brought tears to my eyes, and for one fragmented second, I saw all the other presidents come through that Oval Office that I remember, from Roosevelt to Truman and Kennedy and Johnson and Reagan and all the other people, presidents that it was a fraction of a second, but it was such a moment that, and there I was, and there he was, and it was. I'll never forget it, and like I said, I want to just clarify this. It was had nothing to do with parties and who was what, and this control and that control, and the Senate and the House and all the fights that go on. It had to do with a moment of meeting a powerful, powerful man of a country. So,
and previous to that, you received letters from then President Bush and also President Clinton,
right,
also.
Both presidents, yes.
But this was a little bit different. You actually got to go to D.C.
Right, yeah.
How were you notified? Last time we saw you was in March, and you said you went in April, I believe.
We were actually notified by phone and then by letter. The phone call was from Washington, stating the fact that, sit down, and I sat down. I said, "You've been awarded the Presidential Service Award for 1995." And it started in 1982. There's only been 265 recipients of this award, so it's not just a lightly given award. And I also want to state this, that it was, when I did receive the award, it was a beautiful medallion, and everybody was with me. You were with me. The KLOS listeners that have helped me were with me. The people of the street were with me. Because the volunteers, the hundreds of volunteers were with me. I just took it on behalf of all of this. That the volunteers made all this possible. The people of the street made all this possible. Every person that was involved in Frontline in anyone made all this possible. Because it's just not me. I mean, I just want to. I took the honor, but it's not me. So it was an honor for the people of downtown and of all the volunteers. And the people downtown were so excited about for me. Ray, I'm glad, I'm so happy. But everybody knew it. Everybody on the street knew it. And so it has been a glorious moment for everybody. It gave hope for the people downtown. And for just a little organization, it's been saying, "Hey, we love you," and keep going. And so that's what that's what it stood for me. So it's marvelous.
And for those that have not heard you before, nor know of the Frontline Foundation, the purpose of your organization is what?
The main purpose of the organization is to give, actually, it's going to sound a little strange here, to give love and dignity and understanding and compassion via serving food to the hungry of Skid Row, and that's downtown Los Angeles. And now we also serve three groups really. Serve in Hollywood, Pasadena, and another little group just started up in Hollywood, East Hollywood, and so there's like three other little groups working besides ours.
Ray, I have to tell you, with some of the press that was released after your meeting in the Rose Garden with the President and the First Lady, there was one particular article that touched me. That was the LA Times article, and the way it was written. And one of the things that was written was how, as you were in the Rose Garden, it commented about how you looked across the street.
Yeah, the interviewer asked after the Rose Garden. This was outside in front of the White House. I mean, we were on the lawn of the White House, and he asked me about the homeless across the street, and I said that I would embrace them and hold them and love them, and that they are a part of me. I am a part of them, and it was just the way he worded. I haven't got the article in front of me, but the way he worded it was beautiful. I loved that article, by the way. I've never liked an article before, but that article was really said how I felt for the first time. Most of the time they put in these weird sayings and that I don't say, but it's the caring about humanity that I'm all about, and that's what that article picked up. And of course there was me meeting the president, and so it was kind of a good thing. The whole he did capture some great things for our conversation.
When I think about how long I've known you and what you've done, and also how you've commented that when you received the award it was for a lot of other people that have helped out with the Frontline Foundation, I can't help but think that there might be one person out there right now.
Excuse me.
Sure. There may be one person out there right now that has heard you before, maybe has never heard you before, and may feel compelled to get involved with Frontline. Something we've never done that I feel strong about right now. Why don't you give out the mailing address right now at the beginning of the program?
Okay, beautiful. The mailing address, of course, is Frontline Foundation, P.O. Box 570303, Tarzana, California, 91357. That's Box 570303, Tarzana, 91357.
Okay, we'll give that out again in a little while. How long has Frontline Foundation been in existence?
This year, in a few months, it'll be 8 years, Frank, and it'll be 7 years that I've been on I was on the program with you, and I had served 40,000 meals at the time, and I thought that was an unbelievable thing. And it was the first time I've ever done the radio show, and I was very reticent about that, and I was reticent about you, and I was just and from that from that 40,000, we have now surpassed 460,000 meals, which is truly a miracle, and also now 5,000 in Hollywood and 3,000 in Pasadena and 170 in the that Carrie and Mike have started a little group, and it's a magnificent tribute to what people can do, and the amount of people from just what you have generated. I mean, when I think about it, and I have to put this out too because I'm here. But when we met, the destiny or the destiny of the moment that we met on Skid Row, which will be coming up in a short time, November, that moment of our meeting, that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people are now part of Frontline due to you. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people have been served food due to you, because we went out on the airwaves. This is, I mean, I would love to, well, there's no way of calculating it, but I mean, just amazing, now the dinners that we have, the far-reaching effect of just our meeting is phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal. That you as an instrument have generated such a tremendous entity of purity to help humanity, and I'm beginning to see the mechanisms or the workings of the whole ball from its very beginning, and I'm saying to myself, my God, look what's happened here. And whether people want to say, hey, help, or they don't want to help, or they're angry, they're frustrated, or they're happy with joy, or what, is really totally irrelevant. 460,000 meals have been served to people with their hands out. It's our own people in our own city, and that's beautiful, and no questions asked. To give for the purity of giving, to love without any qualifications, with no conditions, to disregard all the baloney of people, places, and things, and say, hey, let's just help our friend, let's just help our person on the street, or somebody that's hungry. That's all it is. To put aside the angers and the frustrations of our society today, and so that's all been generated through you, Frank, and as an instrument, put in whatever year that was, 1988, I think, on that time that we met on Skid Row. I mean, that's awesome to me. To me, it is. 460,000 meals, that's awesome. The Corps of Volunteers, that's awesome. The love on the street that the people on Skid Row have for me, that's awesome. That I have for them, that's awesome. The volunteers, that's awesome. So these are big moments. I want to hire now to take that next step. I would love to talk too about. I'm looking for when I get the proposals up, looking for 100 sponsors at $1,000, so that I can hire a human being, or 2 human beings, or 3, whatever it is that it takes to carry this to the next level. To serve, instead of 60,000 meals a year, to serve 180,000 to 200,000 meals a year. What a tribute for not that much money. This is another level that I want to take it to. I can't because I physically don't have the physical strength to go on into another area. It's going to take a younger human being, but the ideas are in my head. So this is another area that I want to go into. Frontline is ready. Frontline is pure. Frontline is just strong. It's healthy. We were on the show 2 years ago, Frank, and Frontline was down and out. Well, we're up. The newspapers have been good to me. The L.A. Times, the Radio U that kept with me. You didn't say, "Oh, the hell with you, Ray," because you're on your way out now. You kept right with me when I was down and out, and the L.A. Times came to me when I was down and out, and the Dennis McCarthy came to me when I was down and out. So now I'm on my feet. I'm strong, and of course, when the President of the United States is behind you, or not behind, but at least recognizing you, my God, I can't go any higher than that, and so to get a little interest, people have been. I have little containers out in the stores, and people have been very generous and writing notes, thank you, and giving and helping what I've tried to put across. So I guess I'm talking too much about all these things, but it's important.
Well, we have you here to talk about your organization. That's why you're
I
here.
got to talking about it.
Now, Frontline is a non-profit organization, and over the years, you have it's a volunteer-based organization, and you get the food and the donations basically just from people.
It's all from people. It's all the people that made it up. We have a woman in the kitchen that came in yesterday. She just came with us. Her name is Olga, and a nice young lady. And she came in and she said, "Well, how do you get your food and so and so?" And she works beautifully on Saturday morning. And so I gave her one of our specific item letters, and by golly, she came back yesterday. She's there every Saturday, but she opened up the back of her trunk. She had 92 cans of tuna fish. Now that's going to feed a lot of people, and I mean, it just boggles my mind to see that kind of miracle. I call them miracles come across, and so it's all by people. It's all by people. AMC Theater is marvelous. I mean, with Cameron Garcia, with all the people love popcorn down there. La Mousse, we have the finest cakes besides B's Bakery and all that. But I mean, it's in Martino's Bakery. I mean, it's amazing the way people have gathered around and just given me all these beautiful donations. I mean, it's impossible to do it because it would cost me $200,000 to serve food to even 60,000 people. But last year I served 54, I think either 54 or 56,000 on $36,000. That's everything. And if it cost me $25,000 for a human being to come in there to work to serve another 60 or 1,000 on top of the 60 to go to 120, my God, it's certainly still worth it. So we're talking a very low overhead, efficient entity here, and so it is by the donations. I can't do it without it. I mean, but it works. A school comes in. One school that Juliet and Randy, he was, I think you know Randy and Juliet, they came in with 800 cans of tuna from a school. And this other woman, her name is Orly, she comes in with 2 or 3 times from the student body from the Valley Best Shalom, and they came in 2 times. One with 400, another one with 400, and then they came in with the student council got money together and sent it in for more tuna fish. I mean, these are kids. These are kids. These are It boggles my mind. I have for my Albany back in 1952. I graduated. Oh my God! And these kids in the 8th grade at the Albany Academy don't even know me. Sent me $170 for tuna fish, with the teacher sending another 10, so there was $180 for tuna fish. This is the Albany Academy that I graduated in 52. They're 8th graders. They called me. They put a call in with the. They had they all sat around the class and called me.
Conference call.
Conference call, right. I mean, interested in humanity. I mean, that's why I say this is a miracle, because it's far-reaching. It's not just the people of Skid Row or the volunteers. We're talking about little kids learning how to say, what's it all about, Ray? It's about giving. It's about love. It's about helping your fellow man. So these kids at the Valley Beth Shalom and the Sherman Oaks Elementary and all that. I mean, my God, 800 cans and another one from a 400 from another little school. I mean, I've only scratched the surface. You can imagine what I did if I had 10 of you out there, Frank, and we were on the daytime shows. We could change the whole world. But this is what is very profound in the system that's Frontline has achieved, and I'd love to get up and pound some of the council people and senators and all those other people in Washington or here and say, hey, this is what we've got. But it's very hard, and like I said, it's 8 years for me. The struggle has been very hard. It's been very arduous, and I'm tired. I'm healthier than I've ever been, but I'm still tired. So, but I just want to share all that, because it's coming from the little people to the big people to the adults and they're all involved. They're involved in something towards the good. Now, they don't put what we're doing in the newspapers. Boy, wouldn't it be great if they put that on the news? No, we want to know who murdered who killed who, and what lawyer is cheating who, which is disgusting. But instead, how about a kid's school, the Valley Beth Shalom, giving 800 cans of tuna fish for the homeless? What about that on the front page, instead of this guy that murdered 2 people or whatever they do, or however they do it? They don't put any of that stuff on. No, I want the negative stuff. I want that stuff that rips the humanity, the people of humanity, rips our country apart. Anything that'll rip and tear and degrade and castigate. That's what we want to see on the front page. That's what I want to see in the newses. But what about these other things? What about 8th graders giving $170 that they did from bake sales? I got the letters to prove it, bagels and selling bagels and cakes and sending their little money to a guy they don't even know in a different state, from New York State to California State, helping Californians. What about that kind of stuff? No, that's too good. We don't want to hear about that kind of stuff. We want to hear about the left. I don't even know what wings are, but left wing and right wing. I talk about these things like I know what I'm talking about. I don't know what a left winger or a right winger or a middle of the road. I don't know any of that, but I heard the jargon. It's all baloney. It's all baloney.
So what you're saying is the media. I mean, there are miracles that happen.
Sure.
When it comes to the media doesn't really care to report miracles.
No, why would they? It doesn't sell. It's not money making. Everything goes down to that dollar. But the media, the tremendous vision of television, saturates the mind and the soul of all these kids, and they worry about the kids. But all it is just saturating it with all the poison and the vermin of our society, the decay of our society that perpetrates on a daily basis. Oh yeah, and then you have the liars and these people getting up lying constantly. Why shouldn't I be a liar too, like those liars are?
Why aren't you?
Well, because I deal in 4 principles, Frank. The principle of purity, honesty, unselfishness, and love. And if I deviate from any of those 4 principles, I'm in trouble. So it doesn't allow me the latitude to lie. Purity doesn't lie. And that's, I've got to stand up for these principles. I want to stand up for these. I want to say, yes, this is what I do. I did all the lying. I did lie. I did cheat. I did con. I did steal. I did all the things that one human being could possibly do. And I don't do these things anymore. That's why I know a liar, and I had the right to call somebody that kind of a perpetrator of mankind. And that's why I'm able to be so successful downtown with humanity, because they see my eyes, they see the purity. They say, yeah, I trust you, Ray. I trust you, Ray. And that's what it's about. It's about trust. Well, who do you trust? You trust the government? No. You trust this? No. You trust that? No. Everybody's out there doing something against somebody. So it's time for somebody, some people, a nation, a country, or whatever it is, to stand up and go for the right, for the good, for the welfare of others, not the welfare of self. The greed and the selfishness is to such a degree, it's beyond anything. The money, how much money can I make? How fast can I make it? How big of a car? How much can I sell? How much can I rob? How much can I cheat the government out of? How much can I work under the table for? How much can I make all this askance atmosphere is it's just tragic. And for this I live in my country. Who cares? People say. What about my country? Geez, this is our country. This is our world. My God, they're slaughtering people in Bosnia. They don't care. Nobody cares. I'm talking too much again, Frank. But anyway, it's a feeling within me that wants to bust out. And I wish I was on the radio or the television every day. I'd be yakking like this all the time.
Well, I'll tell you, my experience is 99.9% of those that are in positions of running programs on the daytime, maybe it's time they find new jobs.
Well, right. When you look at it's awesome when you look at a television show, because when you look at a television show, you have so many variations on life itself, and their shows. They're all little exposing. Today we're going to have a show that is the father of the father's mother's brothers, cousins, sisters, who raped her little daughter's boyfriend's cousin, and they're all together on the stage here. Now we'll be right back after this commercial. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, it's crazy.
And you're speaking the truth. I was just in the green room or the other room to grab something to drink, and the TV was on, nighttime talk show. Never saw this one before. And it was about who you've sworn at recently.
Uh-huh.
And they had everybody on stage, and they're talking about who they've sworn at. And
right. It's really gotten way out of hand. You've gotten 20, 30 shows like this, and it's just out there. It's out of hand.
Talk about the principles again.
I love the principles, Frank. I love the principles of long about 10 years ago. I had to clean up my act, so to speak, and I dealt in 4 principles: the principle of purity, the principle of honesty, unselfishness, and love. And love was kind of a thing that's easy, because they say, well, I love, I care, and all that. But if I am impure, my love is impure. If I am dishonest, my love is dishonest. And if I am loving because I want to gratify my own self, then I am a selfish lover. So love really comes into that equation. And purity was a thing that I had to clean up my act. I had to clean up my act. I had to stop painting houses and not declaring the money to the government and not collecting unemployment at the same time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And not collecting, not working a job and then collecting money under the table. These were areas that I had to clean up. Nowadays, it's like, just you think of the chances to clean up or to be dirty, like FEMA. How many people got FEMA money that they really didn't deserve? And how many people helped put that scam on? oh yeah, my house got 50 cracks in it. I need $2,500 from FEMA. They give me the $2,500. I don't declare any of that money. I tell a plumber that you got to come over and help. They give me a price. They tell a landlord it costs. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The degradation of mankind. You see, afraid that if I don't get this money, I won't eat, or my kids won't eat, and that's the big excuse. Well, I got to make money for my kids. What a lie that is. And so there's all these things of life itself that had to be besides the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the relationships, do I really walk the way I talk? How do I feel about this, or how do I feel about this? And if I'm just talking, I can be talking all my life. So the principle of purity enters into all my affairs, everything. Who have I been dishonest with? Where have I been wrong? And these are areas that I have to make it clean. So that's where purity comes in. I just touching a little bit of the surfaces here, and then the honesty. That doesn't mean the honesty that comes in with honesty of calling somebody a bad name. That's not the kind of honesty I'm talking about. I'm talking about the integrity of honesty. I'm talking about the fact that I don't lie, that what comes out of my mouth is true. Not that I gave back $1 to somebody, and that makes me look good. That's not what I'm talking about. Or honesty at the expense at the level of another person is not the kind of honesty I'm talking about. Oh, well, I'm honest, Maybe if my car got in an accident and I went to sell my car and I didn't tell the other party that my car was in an accident because I wanted to get the $5,000, that's honesty that I'm talking about. That hidden away honesty. So that has to be covered. And then the other one, and again, I touch these things lightly. And then the other thing is unselfishness. This is a very, very tricky area, because unselfishness, most people today, most organizations, most group therapeutic organizations. Of course, I shouldn't speak for the whole group. Oh yeah, I might just as well. Who cares? They always got to think about yourself first. This is the philosophy. Quite obviously, you can't give away something that you don't have, so you better take care of yourself first. Wrong. Beep. Wrong. There are people on Skid Row who have nothing. There are people on Skid Row. There are people not on Skid Row that have nothing. I have nothing. And so that is an erroneous statement. So unselfishness, the way I clarify unselfishness is that I don't think of myself. I am free of self. Free of self. And when you're free, when an individual is free, I am free of self. There is no conscious thought of myself. So I have no fears. And that is another big area that comes in, because when you're free, that you can't have fears because you're a free human being. But when you're free of self, there's no conscious awareness of self. I don't have to worry about my welfare being, or am I going to do this, or am I going to do that, or blah, 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 blah. That's not what unselfishness means. That takes care of all of those things. But it's a very heavy statement to say I care about another human being. Do I really care about another human being? Or do I care about you because I want to make myself feel good? You see, that's the other one. I give on one hand with my other hand underneath, saying, what's in it for me? And that's wrong. See? And so that has to be, and also the selfishness has to come in pure and honest too.
And one of the end results is, as you say, to give for the purity of giving and ask nothing in return.
Right. That's the ultimate of giving, or the purity of giving, is to ask nothing in return, to want nothing. I have no wants. Somebody said, "Well, you got to want something." No, I don't have to want anything. You got to want something to that individual. But if I'm truly free, if I truly walk the way I talk, I don't have any worries. I don't have any worries. And if I'm not afraid to die, then I really don't have any worries at all. And I feel, I believe these things. I really believe what I'm saying here. And then the love comes in as a result of putting these principles together. And then my love becomes pure. Then when I say I love you or I care about you, it has meaning. It has meaning. Love doesn't come before the others. So it's last. You say purity, honesty, unselfishness, and love. I wonder why they came in that order. I didn't put them in that order. But I never thought about it until just right now. But I have to have that purity of thought. Purity of thought. Nothing, no fragments in my head. No outer fragments in my head. Purity of thought, like clear water. And no ulterior motives. Really trying to be what's the word? A disciple of, you want to call it God, I call it God, a disciple of God, a disciple of God to help humanity, free of self. Oh my God, what a beautiful feeling to wake up in the morning and not have to worry about self. And this is where I am at. And I'm not afraid to say it. I've got to stand up and say that. Because if I don't stand up and say that, then I'm just a bunch of baloney too, like everybody else, talking about how I should do this and should do that and should do. No, I am this. This is what I practice every day. This is how I live. This is what I believe. And if somebody doesn't have somebody that they can look up to or look aside to and say, yeah, Jesus, he's done pretty good at this way, then it's not worth it. And the love and the respect that I get from other people, verifies my position. I'm not a piece of baloney walking down the street. I'm a human being. I'm God's kids walking down the street. And the love that is given to me verifies out that the process that I'm doing, the process by which I'm living by, works. Because nobody's calling me a liar. At least not to my face, they're not.
Let me ask you one more question, and then I want to get, we've got a lot of commercials we've got to get out of the way, and we'll also open the phone lines if some listeners would maybe like to talk to you. If they have any questions or comments about something that's been said, or maybe something they've heard in past programs. Skid Row, of all places that you devote so much time and energy, and I know I've asked you this question a number of times, the why Skid Row of all places, and you've responded by saying, that's just where I'm supposed to go.
Right.
Not so much the whys, but talk about Skid Row, because so many people that I know, when you think of Skid Row, they think, oh, bad part of town, dangerous, which it is,
mm-hmm.
but yet somehow separate from that part of our community. That they don't realize it's a community unto itself.
Correct.
Talk about Skid Row.
Well, you said it right on hit it right on the nose. It's a community unto itself. It's a society of people that live like people live in Sherman and other parts. It's just that this is where they live. This is where this society lives, and they're a little bit. The main difference is, of course, is they're not affluent, and they live in a manner of living that is not conducive to the normality of our society, whatever that means. But to disregard all of that, these are people, human beings, and this is what I see. I see a human being. I see a human being that is a little down on their luck. I see a human being that is a caring human being, loving human being. Everybody that I've ever met on Skid Row has feelings. Now, they may not have the right feelings. Some of them might be a little cantankerous, to say the least, but they have feelings. I know this friend of mine, Big Red, who I saw on the streets last week or the week before. Last Wednesday. God, he's a beautiful human being. So articulate, so smart. My God, it's so much wisdom that I have to stand there and listen. His poor hand is broken. His wrist his knuckles are all broken from the fights that he's gotten into, and I touch his hand, and it hurts me to see that. I have another, my friend Brenda, who got hit by a car. Went into the hospital. Noreen and I went into the hospital to see her, a human being. And we went down to County General. She went in under a Jane Doe, and she come out of her haze, and she said, "Oh, Papa, why am I here?" And she looked at Noreen. She calls her Mama, and she's a human being. She's back on the streets again, but she's a human being. So I cannot say why I'm in that particular area. I can only say that I fulfill my destiny, my calling, my I guess that's about the best, my direction, that this is where I was to do my work, whatever work I was, whatever little work I'm doing, but this is where I was supposed to do it. I wasn't supposed to do it anyplace else. I wasn't supposed to do it on a stage in New York. I wasn't supposed to do it in a studio, in a TV studio. I was supposed to do it on the streets of Skid Row. I was supposed to bring love. I was supposed to bring tolerance, compassion, understanding, and that's what I was to bring. I was to bring nothing else, and food. If I brought the food down, was very minor compared to the other. So that's what I bring, and as a result of that, it has totally turned around, and I see humanity. I have seen humanity. I have touched humanity. I have felt humanity, and I am able to talk with the depth that I need in this lifetime anyway to talk about when I speak of humanity. I cannot take a backseat to any human being when I'm talking in this kind of an area, because this is a very vital area, humanity. And that's why I earned my right. I earned my right to walk the streets of Skid Row. I earned it. I didn't just buy into it and say, "Oh, I'm a nice guy." No, I earned it. And so did Noreen with me, along with me. We earned our right to walk those streets and to be in their homes. So I don't know if that...
it answered it. Indeed. Let's take a break. Okay?
I got you.
I want to give out some numbers because we do have a lot of commercials tonight. If you would like to be on Impact this morning on KLOS, if you have any questions or comments for my in-studio guest, Ray Castellani from the Frontline Foundation, give us a call, would you? 213-818 or 310 area codes. The main lines are 520-KLOS, 520-5567. We also have lines in the 714 area. The numbers there are 977-KLOS, and the toll-free lines are 1-800-955-KLOS. You'll talk to Tammy Richardson. She's our program coordinator, and she's the woman you talk to before you call. We will also, on the other side, talk a little bit more about what Ray needs in terms of, we've talked about food items, and if you'd like to get more involved with Frontline Foundation, you will absolutely have an opportunity to do so. So we'll be back in just a few moments and look forward to hearing from you on the other side. Okay, we are back. And can you hear me there? Okay. We've done this enough. This is Impact on KLOS. My name is Frank Sontag, and my in-studio guest is Ray Castellani from the Frontline Foundation. The lines are pretty filled. Our 800 numbers are filled up. 520-KLOS are the main lines, and we also have a line open in the 714 area. 977-KLOS are those numbers. And we'll be taking some phone calls in just a few moments. So if you've tried to get through, you can give us a buzz again, and we'll see if we've got some open lines. Ray, on the break, we were talking about a lot of things, and right before we went on the air, I talked about things you need, because this is a nonprofit organization. Mm-hmm. It's a volunteer-based organization. If there's someone out there that feels compelled to want to get involved with you, volunteer-wise, or maybe would like to give something food-wise, what would you suggest that they do?
Well, I always want tuna, naturally, and so tuna fish is an item that is always needed by Frontline, because we serve it 3 times a week. Volunteers always. We are on Oxnard Boulevard at 1 block west or 1/4 of a block west of Sepulveda and Oxnard. And it's a little bit west of Sepulveda Boulevard. And there's an alleyway, and you take a left in that alleyway, and you see a great big sign that says Frontline Foundation. So that's where we reside, and we're there every morning, 7 o'clock through 10. And I'd like the people to. A lot of people do show up, and they come there. They bring newspapers here. I'm big on newspapers, by the way, and they drop off the newspapers. And a friend of yours, Frank, by the way, Brian. God, I just wrote him a note, but he heard the show on the last show, and he called me last week, and he dropped off, which I didn't want, but he dropped off a beautiful check for Frontline, plus about 750 pounds of paper, which was unbelievable. That totaled to $45 or something like that, but I just couldn't believe. The story was beautiful. I don't want to go into the story, but the story was a beautiful story. He wrote me a beautiful note, and that's how he got involved. And so it's newspapers. I have a place for them, and all you got to do is just drop them off, and it doesn't cost anybody anything. So if they don't have any money for tuna, they can. And then, of course, there's the P.O. Box 570-303, Tarzana 91357. That's there for anything that they want to donate anything, which is fine. No big sums of money, but anything helps out. And volunteers, like I said, just show right up there. It's so easy to get to. It's in Van Nuys, like I said, Sepulveda and Oxnard, 1/4 of a block west. Just take a left in that alley, and there's Frontline.
You want to take some phone calls?
Sure, great.
We just got some calls walked in, and I want to talk more about the newspapers. The newspapers have really.
Yeah, you've done marvelous with collecting newspapers down here. $80-some-odd last month.
Well, it's it just fascinates me how just something like newspapers. And how that's built for you at Frontline, and how that's helped with
getting the food, Frank. $422.83 last month. And Bill Mannheim, he's probably out there. He's he loves his recycling, but that's an example. That's a singly exampled human being, which which is so beautiful. He comes to the dinners and he singly donates his recycling, adding up to $30-some-odd a month that he recycles, and I buy relish and mayonnaise, but this newspaper thing, I can't take cans and things like that, but newspapers, it adds up. I could probably. I mean, if I really put a call out there with newspapers, could really do something. I don't care even if it's $20 a ton. Right now it's a little high, but keep bringing them in. Buys a lot of food for me and for Frontline. That and sponsorship. If anybody out there, human being or corporation, would love to take Frontline and help Frontline and sponsor. This is so vitally important right now. To sponsor it from going into this 180,000 bracket of meals served. God, this is what I need. I need that so very desperately. So, if there is anybody out there that is interested in sponsorship, it's $1,000 for the year, is what I'm looking for. 100 sponsors, and it's just a beautiful entity. To undertake for any corporation or business or anybody that's giving to any kind of an organization. I could use that very, very much.
And this, in a sense, is the vision for the next step.
That's my vision. That is. That's what, and this is the way I see it, and this is the way I've got the proposal up. I'm going around to Rotaries. I'll start going around to Rotaries and people like that. But this is what I see. And what I saw when I first started was this vision of just serving food. And 460,000 meals later, and now I see 180,000 a year, which is an unbelievable figure. But I see it. and we're set for it. We don't have to do anything except just get some young person. In fact, I've got him in mind, and just get his little salary, not much. He'll work for very little to start with, and maybe if we have a little bit left over for a secretary, and maybe 2 people, maybe 3 people. It could work on 3 people. Would be beautiful. So, but I don't need 100,000. But I mean, I'm going to shoot for that.
Right. 1-800-955-KLOS are the toll-free lines. And Carrie, good morning. You're on the air on KLOS Los Angeles.
Hi.
That's Carrie. I can tell by her voice.
Hi, Ray.
Hello, Carrie.
The question I have is this.
It's not heavy, is it?
You've been talking about people do show up.
Uh-huh.
The question I have is, in terms of people that want to volunteer, what do I have to turn the radio down because I'm hearing double for myself? And what do I have to know how to cook? Do I have to know how to drive a car? I'm wondering, in terms of your volunteer, if the new people in the audience and the people who've been listening to you for a while now, I'd love to hear what it is that one could do. Do I have to commit to 5 hours a week?
Yeah.
Do I have to know how to drive a car? Do I have to go downtown? What is it that? How is that kitchen run?
Okay, that's a beautiful question. Number one, I don't like the volunteers volunteering more than an hour and a half. So I'm not asking for somebody to be there 8 hours a day. The only qualification that I want from the human being is just that they care, that they love, and that they care about humanity, that they're not off on their own thing doing their own crazy way of doing things. And we have a little format. It's very simple, and just you come through that door with just love and caring, and that's basically all that is needed. There are a myriad of jobs besides working in the kitchen. You do not have to know how to cook. You don't have to know anything. You just have to love a little bit and care a little bit, and that's all. You don't have to be a college graduate, or you can be a college graduate. It doesn't make any difference. But I'm looking more for the humanitarian. I'm looking more for that volunteer to say, yes, what do you want me to do? To pitch in and everything. Sometimes you got to clean the floor. Sometimes you got to do stuff that you don't do at home, maybe. But most of it's real easy, and most of it is just fun, and everybody really pitches in and helps. So those are I call them core volunteer people. They are really believe in the process of what I'm trying for. Mm-hmm. So, does that answer it?
It surely does. Thanks, Ray.
Right. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carrie. We appreciate the call. And we'll talk to Carol now. Carol, you're on the air on KLOS.
Oh, good morning, Frank. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Carol.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing it.
All right, that's great. Listen, Ray, you may not remember me, but I called you last time you were on Frank Sontag's show, and it was sometime in March. And I'm the lady that told you I was really worried about meeting my in-laws. And my husband and
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, you remember me now.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
yeah.
my husband and
Right, I do, yes.
Yeah, we went on the trip. We went to Oregon, and I didn't have to worry at all. My in-laws and all their friends were real kind and loving toward me and my husband. So there wasn't real for us to get nervous about.
I remember that.
I wanted to thank you for your advice of being loving and caring.
Beautiful.
When I go to see my in-laws.
That's right. I remember, Carol. You remember Frank?
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I think he remembers.
I do.
Yeah.
Because I said I love you to both of you.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, how about that?
So I could hardly wait to hear you on the radio so I could call you and tell you.
Well, that's great.
Thank you.
Carol. That's great. That's beautiful, and that's certainly is the power of love. So that's great.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for all you're doing, and congratulations on your award.
I mean, do you believe that? Me with the President of the United States?
Oh, it's incredible. It really is.
Yeah, it is.
It's incredible, and I wanted to congratulate you with that, too.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Carol. And again, I want to emphasize very importantly that it's the Carols, it's your energy. It's the people like you that have made the people like me keep going. Because no, it's important because you see, when you're where you're living and you give a thought and you say, geez, yeah, I got to call, but that thought process travels to me.
Uh-huh.
And that's the power of thoughts.
Did you know that I was going to call you tonight?
No, I didn't know that. No, but you knew it.
Yeah, I knew it.
See, and that's the power that I'm talking about.
Oh, I see.
You see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
In other words, you're carrying that power, that good feeling for Ray and Frank. You're carrying it with you, unknowns to us. But if we got 1,000, 10,000, 1,000,000 people carrying that same feeling, do you see how it can change?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I see.
Okay.
Very definitely, I see.
Beautiful.
Well, I think you're a beautiful person. You and Frank are both beautiful people. Very loving and compassionate. And there aren't enough of those people in the world.
No, we're going to put some more in.
Yeah. We got to put more in. That's right.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Frank. I love you.
Love you too.
Love you, Ray.
I love you too.
Good night.
Take
Good night
good care.
now.
Bye-bye. 520-KLOS and the 213-818 or 310 area codes. You know, it seems to me I talked to her one time on my talk show after you were on, and she shared the story about just how touched she was by the advice you gave her.
Yeah, well, I remember that, talking to her about that. Yeah, she was, I definitely remember that.
Chris, you're on the air on KLOS with my in-studio guest, Ray Castellani.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Ray. How you doing?
Hey, Chris, cool.
Cool. Got a kind of a question and a quick little story. Okay, I've got this really serious problem.
What's the problem?
I don't know where everything's headed towards. 19 years old. Just started working at Six Flags.
How old are you?
19.
Okay.
And my mom and dad says I'm at that point where you want to prove yourself and you want to get out and do everything, but this is just one of those things you can't talk to your parents about. And, I figured I was carpooling with some friends to Reseda, dropping them off, and then I had to drop one off here in Castaic, where I'm at now.
Okay, what is that problem?
Well, I'm trying to get out on my own, and it's not looking too hard, and I don't want to hit that skid row, what you're talking about.
Right.
But if things ever did hit very rock bottom like that, I mean, there would seem like there would be a lot of awesome people like you guys out there to actually comfort and help.
Uh-huh.
That's what was happening. Because I'm from Bakersfield, and they have a system there called Golden Empire Gleaners.
Uh-huh.
And that is just the most awesome deal in the world. They treat you, they give you jobs there. They help you with assistance.
Chris?
Yes?
Let me ask you a question. What